Greetings, punks, goths, metalheads, herberts, herbetters, Martians and subterranean folk. How you all doing? My name's John and this is the Health Anarchist channel. Well, I hope you're all having a lovely weekend. So I've just got a new pair of glasses now. I really like these ones. I really like the style of them. The last pair of glasses I had, I wasn't too sure when I picked them, and I gradually grew to hate them over the 2 years that I had them. But these ones I was 100% that I liked them, so yeah, fingers crossed it stays that way. So just a bit of a catch-up video today. I'm indoors because it's raining outside, so I thought I'd have a chat with you guys. Now, in the last video I talked about getting a new set of bass strings, and I got a set off AliExpress. Now these strings, they were branded strings and they were going for like $3.50 I think, which is incredibly cheap. It's about a quarter of what a lot of bass strings will cost you. So with me being a new customer, there was also a deal, and as an introductory offer as a new AliExpress customer, I got these strings for 40 UK pence, including postage. So I thought I'd give them a try, but I was cynical that they were going to be, you know, the real deal. I thought these have got to be fake at that price. But anyway, the strings have arrived now. So this is how the strings arrived, packaged. Now it's a proper well-known brand, and I've got the guitar strings of these. Now these are bass strings, so I thought I'd give them a try. And looking at the package at first glance, they look like the real deal, but once I opened them I thought, I'm not sure. So inside, all the strings were in this little plastic bag. Now I think they're pretty much certainly fake. I've just got that feel about it. Usually when you're paying a fair bit of money for branded bass strings, each string will come in an individual envelope. Now they were all inside this same plastic bag, and that was the biggest giveaway. I mean, I might be wrong, they could be genuine, but anyway, I tried them on my bass and they're alright, you know. They're not the best set of bass strings in the world, you know, from 1 being the very worst and number 10 being the very best. I'd say they're about a number 5, so they seem okay. And you know, if you're after a set of bass strings that's cheap, they'll do the job. I'd sort of class them as the same as the bass strings that you'd get on an economy bass, like an Epiphone bass or something. Now the stock standard factory strings you get on one of those, I'd say these strings are pretty much the same. They're not great, but they'll do the job. So I've tested them out and they seem okay, and I'll just give you a little demo now. Now please note that I'm playing for a little guitar amp because I don't have a bass amp. It's a little practice guitar amp and playing low, and you shouldn't really play a bass through a guitar amp, but I thought I'll just play it low, and it's just to test out the strings, so it'll give you an idea. And you know, they work, and there's no way I was going to play these bass strings on a bass through my big Marshall amp stack, so I thought I'll try it on my little practice amp. So here you go. So there you go, that's the bass strings that I got from AliExpress. You know, if you're on a tight budget, they might do the job for you. The only thing I would say is they are a bit coarse. If you've been playing guitars for years and your fingers are tough, you'll be alright, but if you're a brand new beginner and your fingers are very soft still, I'd say you know, maybe spend some money on a more expensive set of bass strings geared up to beginners, because they'll be a lot more gentle on your fingers. So I think we're getting through the worst of the year's weather at the moment. We've just had a recent bit of a cold blast for April, and we've got a lot of rain at the moment, but the actual temperature is going up a bit, and I'm looking forward to it going up because I've got a patchouli plant which I started last year, and I've had that inside, but it's not doing great inside, so I'm looking forward to the weather getting a bit warmer because I want to put it outside because I really want that to thrive because I love patchouli. Now a few leaves have dropped off it over winter, and picking those leaves up and smelling them, it's got a really nice patchouli smell, so I'm hoping to get a big bush of it, so maybe I can start doing some organic patchouli oil of my own. So as we're in the month of April now, a lot of things have gone up in price, things like broadband, and there's quite a few things that have gone up. And I noticed on the 1st of April this month, when a lot of direct debits come out, they've just like sucked my bank balance dry, and I wasn't expecting that, and I didn't plan for it, so I've got a skint few weeks. I've got enough money, I've got all my stuff covered, and I've got plenty of food and that, but I'm going to have a frugal time for a bit and be a bit more careful next month. So I think we've got a dry day tomorrow. I'm going to try and get out tomorrow, but I won't be filming that, and doing a bit of work on a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. If any of you don't know, I play Dungeons and Dragons. I've been playing it since I was a teenager, and currently I'm the dungeon master for a campaign, so I've got a bit of work to do on that over the weekend, and I really enjoy that. We play it once a week with a bunch of friends, and yeah, it's cool. So I've been noticing more and more on social media, there's a lot of people putting videos out and debating this and that about goth and what it is to be goth and how do you be goth and stuff like this. The mind boggles really, because really it's very simple. If you go back to the roots of it, when I was going out in the 80s, I mean there were people before me going out in the 70s, but I started going out in the 80s, and basically people into goth, you just go out to goth clubs or goth gigs or clubs that play goth music, and you dress up in your goth clothes, or you know, to varying degrees, though it didn't matter 100% on the clothes. Some people just dressed pretty normal and loved the goth music. So basically you went to goth clubs, listened to music, a lot of people dressed up in the goth clothes, and you socialised with other people into the music. So in a nutshell, being goth was going out to goth clubs or clubs that played goth, going to goth gigs and mixing and socialising with other people into the same music. And you know, you'd listen to your stuff at home, the bands, the goth bands that you liked, and it really is as simple as that. And you've got all these massive debates these days going on about it, and I like to keep things as simple as possible, and you know, that's the way I view it anyway. So if you're looking for a simple explanation, you know, listen to the music, dress goth if you like goth clothes and that's what you want to do, and go to places where they play goth music, clubs or gigs, and socialise with others, and basically that's all there is to it. And nowadays we do have the luxury of having social media, you know, so we can socialise with other people into it online as well. But I would say to be a bit cautious with that, because with people saying this is goth, that's goth, this isn't goth, so be careful with it when you're online. But the good side of the online stuff is you can socialise with others like yourself. Right, well it's actually stopped raining, so I've managed to come out in between rain showers. Hopefully I'm not going to get caught in it, and I thought I'd bring you guys and just show you something that's very local to me. Now I've just done a 3-mile walk, and this is on the way back. Now I'm at a place called Cocker Hill in Staley Bridge. I'm just in a really quirky, unusual little graveyard, and there's quite an interesting tale about it. Now if we go back about 200 years, at the time medical professionals needed bodies to practice on, or they called them cadavers, and they're in very short supply, and the only legal means to get these was from the body of a condemned criminal that had been sentenced to death. Now there wasn't enough of these to go round, so what happened is they had to turn to the illegal activity of body snatching. Now they didn't do it themselves, So they'd buy the bodies from body snatchers, often knowing that these would be obtained through illegal activity. So if we just talk about body snatching for a moment and just think about what it actually was, it really was a vile, despicable crime. And that's basically people's family and loved ones who'd been buried while that wind's picking up. Basically people's family, their loved ones, friends who'd been buried, they'd go and dig them up. Now, can you imagine how upsetting that is, having your loved ones who'd recently died and been put to rest, and their bodies had been dug up and sent to medical schools to be examined and dissected. Now, the wound was probably still very fresh of losing somebody, and it just really is an awful activity. But anyway, body snatching was rife all across the country. It was happening on a vast scale, and Staley Bridge was no exception. Now, where I am now on Cocker Hill in Staley Bridge, there used to be a pub or an inn called the Pack Horse, and in this inn was a person called Captain Sellers and his group of resurrectionists, and they'd meet here and plot and scheme about where they're going to go next and take bodies. Now, being near the graveyard, this was obviously one of the places that they hit, and at the time many graves in this graveyard were found disturbed. So the authorities had to do an investigation, and many of the graves were dug up and they were found to be empty, that the bodies had been taken. And you can imagine how much upset and distress this caused for the families of those loved ones. And it got to a point that there were so many that the church wardens at the time, they put an order on the graveyard that no more graves were to be reopened, as in the examining of graves to see if there'd been any body snatcher activity, because obviously it was causing a lot of distress to the families, and I imagine a lot of embarrassment to them that, you know, this had happened on their watch in their graveyards. So I'll show you a little bit more about this in a moment. We've still got some traces of that left. Now, this graveyard, as you see it today, it's been repurposed. It was repurposed a long time ago, and when they repurposed it and they had to move the graves around, they found that a lot of the graves were indeed empty, so they had evidence that, you know, the bodies had been taken. And more recently, we're on the sides of a river valley, and this is at the top of the river bank, and at one point in recent history the whole graveyard slid down into the river, and basically they had to recover all the gravestones, and they've been set back up here today and made into a path and seats, which I'll show you in a moment. Now, it's not ideal walking on graves, and I always feel a bit uncomfortable, so I usually walk on the grass, but I guess it's better that they're still being preserved and kept here rather than them ending up being crushed up as builders' rubble to be used in building or industry. So anyway, I'll give you a quick show round now. So if we look round here, you can see there's gravestones all around. Now, this one's been repurposed into a bench, and if we go round here, you can see this one's been repurposed into another bench. And all through this quirky little graveyard, and for showing you the main path through the graveyard now, as I said, the bodies are not underneath here anymore. It's just empty ground underneath them, so you're not actually walking over remains. And I like to come here and chill out sometimes. Some of my older viewers may have seen me do videos on this graveyard before, but I thought a lot of you newer people might want to see it. So as I said earlier, at one point there was an order made by the church wardens that no more graves were to be examined and reopened. I'll just show you there's remains of that now. So if we look at this grave here, it says this grave not to be reopened. So that's evidence of the story that I've been telling you. Anyway, so I'm going to get back home now. It's started to rain a little bit and we'll continue back indoors. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy watching, please don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I'll catch you very soon on the next video. Take care now. Bye.